You mentioned my $170,000 prediction, so I just want to go
That's right here.
into that with you for 30 seconds. That's a data dependent prediction. Go
100%.
go back and look at Bitcoin halving cycles. The day that the Bitcoin halves, multiply it by 4, 18 months later, and it's been uncanny that that's been the price of Bitcoin. So I'm using a $35,000 number at the halving. If I'm, and that's conservative. You're correct. That is conservative. Let's say we're at 50,000 in April. Okay, then it's a $200,000 handle. Let's say we're at 60,000, it'll be 240. But my long-term price target is that Bitcoin gets to easily half the market capitalization of gold. Gold now at about 14.5 trillion. If Bitcoin goes to 7 or 8 trillion, that's a 10x from here. It's a $400,000 Bitcoin. And I think it would be ridiculous for people not to understand the asset, not to understand the dynamics of it as a store of value, and not to have a position. One last point, if you don't mind me saying this, we were the first money into BlackRock. I think I broke it on your.
You did.
I broke it on Wall Street's. We gave BlackRock the first money last January. They converted successfully into the ETF. They have not even started the marketing process. And as you know, these 11 ETFs, this was the best ETF launch in ETF history. So we have some sludge going on with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. The real experts know that. But when that sludge clears out, you have clear skies ahead for Bitcoin, and you have a lot of demand for Bitcoin. You have institutional demand finally for Bitcoin because it's now an asset that's wrapped in something that the hoi polloi can understand and that the institutions can now be comfortable buying. So all of those things hopefully make me wrong about my prediction to the low side. But let's just say this. People need to get in there. They need to understand this asset. They need to work harder to do the research on an asset like this.
Bitcoin could hit $170,000 over the next 12 months. These are the words of Anthony Scaramucci, who recently made headlines at the World Economic Forum. In his latest interview, Scaramucci breaks down why he believes 2024 and 2025 is going to be the year of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Scaramucci believes that the market is underestimating the coming Bitcoin halving, in which half the supply of Bitcoin coming onto the market is going to be cut by 50%. The combination of the halving combined with the excess demand from the Bitcoin ETFs is a perfect storm that will lead to explosive price action. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Scaramucci speaks on the growing institutional demand he is seeing for Bitcoin and why he foresees a $170,000 Bitcoin within 12 months. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy staying up to date with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind. Now here's Anthony Scaramucci with why he believes Bitcoin's price will explode after the April halving.
Every decision that I made in 2022 went bad. I bought more Bitcoin, bad. I bought more Ethereum, bad. Got long Solana, bad. I teamed up with Sam Bankman-Fried. Looked good in the beginning. We had a spectacular conference, Crypto Bahamas. I can't tell you the number of people that congratulated me on the partial sale of Skybridge to Sam in September of 2022. But by November, I was a goat. I had taken 1 and turned it into 0. You know how entrepreneurs like to go from 0 to 1? I went from 1 to 0. And so it was humiliating. It was brutal. I was subjected to 4.5 hours of testimony with the Department of Justice. I had to turn over my cell phones, my Signal, my WhatsApp. It was absolutely brutal. But here's the thing I would say to young people listening: you hang in there, okay? And you tell the truth and you hang in there and you own your mistakes, because if you have integrity, there's always opportunity. There's always people looking to help you if you have integrity. And so by the end of 22, I thought 23 was going to be the worst year of my career. I was expecting Bitcoin to go to 8,000. I was expecting to hold it the whole way down. I was expecting the aftermath of Sam to deplete all of my assets. But, it turns out when you think things are really bad, that's probably where the bottom is. And lo and behold, our coin fund was up 160% last year. Our core fund of funds, which has crypto exposure, but also a collection of hedge funds, up 36%. And our sort of lower volatility fund was up 25. So it was the best year of my career. Very happy about that, obviously. Made the bet. I think that if we're going to be right about this, the next 2 years for these funds will be spectacular, Scott. My thing about this, because I was an FA and I have distributed product into these wirehouses, they're cautious, they're slow moving, but when they get there, it's going to be overwhelming. Okay. And remember, this is a fixed supply asset. So, I mean, Jamie Dimon said something, and I watch his interviews very carefully because I think he's very smart. But he said, Satoshi is going to press a button, and it's going to create another 21 million Bitcoin. And okay, but that actually mathematically, and from a programming analysis and from a decentralized point of view, it actually cannot happen. But to say that, it either implies you're joking, or it either implies you don't have the expertise or the awareness, And so, I don't know. Maybe he's got the regulators on him, and he doesn't want the regulators on him too hard, like the Elizabeth Warrens. But I got to tell you, it's not an informed view, and it's shocking because if you said to me, "Who is the smartest person in financial services?" He's got to be in the top 5. I mean, he's done an unbelievable job at that bank, unbelievable job navigating the global financial crisis, unbelievable job of being there at the right time with the right core assets, meaning the bank never really shook or got knocked into insolvency. But I mean, this thing, I think he's just really missing. I don't think we're done, because I think there's still an unwind of inventory that has to take place with things like FTX, some of the issues related to Genesis, and a few other things that are out there. I do think that there's still inventory. Now, the, rumor, not necessarily a rumor because it's more or less been confirmed now, that $1 billion of FTX GBTC was liquidated in the last week. And I think that cleared out the GBTC, but they own a ton of Solana. They own a ton of other assets. I think you have still some leverage in the mix between the arbitrage situation with GBTC and Genesis. I think that also potentially has to be unwound. But if you're saying to me, by the halving, which is, let's call it mid to late April, by the halving, will we be done with the exegesis of the last cycle? I believe that we will be. Are we down to the remnants of the exegesis of the last cycle? I believe that we are. And I think that when Cramer said that Bitcoin can't find a bottom or can't find a floor or whatever the hell he said, and that was like the interim low, it's not inconceivable to me that Bitcoin is 55,000 by the halving. It's not inconceivable because you have the demand pooling and you have less supply that's going to be offered up to meet that demand. And so, and then the other question is, where is the Grayscale P&L for the average Grayscale trust holder? And so I don't know, if someone bought that in 2015, are they willing to pay 1.5%? And let's just use the differential, 1.3%, because BlackRock's at 21. So your question is, I've got a XYZ gain. Do I want to cash in that gain, pay the taxes, move it into BlackRock, or take it and move it into USD? I don't know. Or am I going to say that? And I think Grayscale,
they did that math.
And I think probably off a little. I think Grayscale would have benefited from like a 1% or 1.25%. I think you would have seen less selling. Listen, I mean, when you're growing up, you are taught by books and you're taught a normative thing that's happening vis-a-vis academia. This is the process, and this is the thing. And there's no arbitrary or capricious nature to the process. And then when you get older, you realize these are just human beings, and there's politics, and there's personal vendettas, and there's slights, and there's this and that and the other thing. I think Gary is aghast that Grayscale took it to him. Okay, yeah. I think Gary is aghast that the Ripple guys took it to him. Okay, I think prior to Gary, Mark Cuban going after the SEC for what they did to him and winning, okay, I think the SEC has really been tarnished. I think they have to go back to blocking and tackling at the SEC, and they have to get out of the politicization. You know, I was in San Moritz at the CFC San Moritz conference, and I met with one of the regulators from Dubai, and the woman said to me, you know what? We have no politicization in our regulatory process. If it's good for the country, good for the economy, we want to embrace it. If it's not, we don't want to embrace it, but it's not tied to somebody calling me and saying, hey, I woke up this morning, I hate Bitcoin. And so the laws of the, the United States is 22% of the world's GDP. I woke up this morning, I'm a little irritable. I don't like Bitcoin and that Mike Novogratz made $1 billion. Hello, Gary, are you there? Yeah, Gary, yeah, we need to block financial innovation in the United States. Okay, so can you work on that for me, please? And then you got, oh, it's just mathematical blather. Okay, yeah, can you block it for me? Thank you, Gary.
Moss.
No, the one beauty. Look, there's some pain in social media, and there's some bots that are irritating, and kids are probably being cyber bullied. But there is a big benefit to this sort of cluster. I don't want to use the F-bomb, but a cluster F-bomb in social media, because somebody like Elizabeth Warren cannot get away with this stuff without being exposed for the insanity and the hypocrisy.
So there's Scaramucci with his latest take on Bitcoin's future. He believes the combination of demand shock due to the Bitcoin ETFs combined with an upcoming supply shock from the April Bitcoin halving is the perfect storm to push prices higher. Scaramucci also spoke on the increased interest in crypto, shedding light on institutional involvement and growing investment from sophisticated investors. Scaramucci sees these developments as key drivers for Bitcoin's growth, fostering institutional confidence and paving the way for wider adoption. Before we go, a quick reminder for those who are keen on staying updated in the fast-paced world of crypto and Bitcoin. Consider subscribing to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis trusted by over 40,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Click the first link in the description to join our community and elevate your crypto investment knowledge today. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.